All right, guys. So just kind of quick reactions to the Colorado North Dakota State game. This is a very concerning game if you are a Colorado fan. This was not a. This looked very similar to how they looked last year. How offensively they were. It was firepower, right? We all know what Shedeur Sanders is. His ability to process, his ability to improvise when the play breaks down. And that ability to kind of extend plays, not just inside the pocket but outside the pocket. His ability to process and dissect certain defenses, to kind of change up the sort of protections, ball placement, accuracy. We all know he has it. Travis Hunter's a freak show. We all know he's a talent. We all know Jimmy Horn is a top 15, maybe a top 15 receiver, especially going into the NFL draft. I think he is a top 15 NFL receiver where he could be, where I think he could definitely be a day 2 NFL draft pick. Besides really those 3 players, and I look at the rest of this football team, what's the difference? You brought in, you lost a bunch of players to the portal. But you also brought in a lot of players to the portal. But I'm looking at this football team and I'm saying, what's the difference from how they looked last season to what they look this season? What did we see from last season? Undisciplined with the penalties. A lot of late shots, which honestly didn't even get called. There was a lot of flags, a lot of calls that the refs missed that could have easily been called. But we saw a lot of undiscipline. We saw Colorado on the line of scrimmage, especially in the run game, did not do well. Had to put a lot on Shedeur Sanders' plate in terms of him really kind of carrying the offense. Well, what did we see in this game? Colorado not having the ability to establish a run game. Having Shedeur Sanders really have to kind of carry the load on his shoulders. We saw coaching mistakes in terms of management. What the hell, with the minute and 29 seconds left, why would you throw the ball on what was it, on first down? When North Dakota State had a timeout, one timeout remaining, you run the clock out. Why are you throwing it? Even if you're trying to surprise North Dakota State and just throw them off guard. If you simply just run the ball and not fumble, you win the game. You don't give North Dakota that shot, which, by the way, they did hit that Hail Mary. It was 5 yards shy. But what if his arm was a little bit stronger? What if they catch that pass in the end zone? We'll be having a different conversation, right? So game management, right? Clock management has been one of the biggest issues for Colorado last season. What was another issue? It was Colorado's secondary, especially when it comes to their outside corners. Their linebackers not getting deep enough, not getting deep enough, especially when it comes to these receivers and tight ends getting behind them in the second to third level. What else is happening? Just the defensive line playing gap sound, right? Controlling the line of scrimmage, being strong, holding up front. I mean, you brought in Warren Sapp for a reason. And what happens? North Dakota State hung in with Colorado in terms of the line of scrimmage on both sides of the line of scrimmage, actually. Colorado couldn't establish a run game, and then Colorado couldn't really generate a consistent pass rush with 4. You had to send extra pressure in order for you to affect the quarterback. I mean, this was one of those games where somebody's going to sit up here and say, well, yeah, this is North Dakota State. They've won countless FCS national championships, runner-ups, whatever. They've upset a lot of teams. What they won't talk about is the amount of coaching changes. It's the coaching changes. How many great programs have we seen? How many great programs have we seen in college football at the FBS division, at the FBS level? And they may be great and they have great history based off what they did before in the past. But what does that have to do with the current season? Right? What have we been hearing about college football fans? That Alabama isn't going to be the same without Nick Saban. Despite Alabama going to 8 national championships, winning 9 national championships, winning 6 national championships, 7 SEC championships that Alabama's won. And yet, what is going on with this season? There's people out there that don't think we make the playoffs. Right? They don't think Alabama will make the damn playoffs. So don't give me this history crap because of what North Dakota State did in the past. What does it have to do with this season? They don't have the same talent. They don't have the same quarterbacks. Trey Lance and Carson Wentz aren't walking through those doors. North Dakota State has lost players to the portal. They've lost coaches. They just lost their head coach to USC. So what if North Dakota State ends up winning 8 or 9 games, but they lose in the first round of the playoffs? What we're going to talk about? I mean, come on, man. Like Colorado, guys, we just got to admit that Colorado, they're just not. This team isn't ready because the same issues that plagued them last year are the exact same issues that showed up in this game. Trouble in the secondary, trouble on the line of scrimmage, on the defensive line, not having the ability to establish a ground game, having Shedeur Sanders carry the load work. Travis Hunter, again, I get it, he's a two-way player and he's going to do this every game, but what happened? He got hurt last year. He missed around, 3 to 4 games last year because guess what? You had him playing on offense, on the offensive side of the ball with a shit ton of snaps, and he took a blatant hit. What happens if something like that happens again? And you miss your most important defensive player on the field. Just the same issues. So, no, I mean, looking at this schedule with Colorado, you're going on the road to Nebraska. You're going on the road to Colorado State, who you won by a point last season. Now you're playing against the rival. We all know that's going to be a very, very difficult game. Kansas, Oklahoma State. Not in particular order. I'm just naming some of the opponents. On the Texas Tech. These are not easy. These are not easy games now. Like, these are not easy games to win. So, I don't know. We'll see what Colorado can do. But all I know is, just like how we saw last year, if you keep trying to put the burden on Shedeur to carry this team, on Travis Hunter to carry this team, and you're just committing the same mistakes like you did last season, you're not going to win a lot of games. And that's just one of the things that I wanted to see is I wanted to see an increase in physicality. I wanted to see at least some sort of dominance on the defensive side of the ball because North Dakota State, I do think, has the potential of being a solid team, right? I think they have that potential. But the fact of the matter is that is an FCS school. And even if you put them and you just classify them with an FBS with the FBS label, a lot of people have even considered Colorado to be competing for a Big 12 championship this year. And you have to play better than what you did against this team because you are going to, from a talent perspective and from a coaching, definitely in my opinion, from a coaching perspective, you are going to go against better coaches and better talent. So we'll see, man. But Colorado, man, they definitely are going through their struggles, and it is not looking good. That was a shitty first game. It was a great game to watch, but from their expectations, from what we've heard, it's not the greatest start. And I'm telling you, Nebraska is going to be a much, much tougher test than North Dakota State. I can guarantee you that.